Frisco Republican Jared Patterson is backing Lubbock Representative Dustin Burrows in this race. Here's his thoughts.
A number of reasons. Number one, he's clearly the conservative choice. Dustin Burrows has led the effort to pass numerous conservative reforms in the Texas House, like being the person that got the heartbeat bill to the floor for the first time ever, being the person that got the bill to ban boys competing in women's sports to the House floor for the first time. He authored legislation to reduce property taxes, to reduce how much property taxes can even go up at the local level, and passed the biggest bill cutting red tape in the history of the state of Texas last session. He is clearly the conservative choice and the person that is going to look out for the best interest of the institution of the Texas House on a whole.
Now, when you say that, the institution of the Texas House, what do you mean by that? Because right now there's a history of it being Republican-led, but also appointing Democratic chairs as kind of a bipartisan coalition.
Yeah, and I don't just mean, Democrat chairs. I don't know whether we're going to have them or not next session. Probably not. It'll come up for a vote. I will vote to ban Democrat chairs. What I think a lot of people don't realize is that every single legislative session that we've ever had, with Rick Perry as lieutenant governor, with David Dewhurst as lieutenant governor, and with Dan Patrick as lieutenant governor, there have been Democrat chairs in the Texas Senate. The focus appears to be on the House on that issue. But next legislative session, 2025, I would fully expect there not to be Democrat chairs in both the House and the Senate for the first time ever, with the majority party ruling. What I mean by protecting the institution of the House is that Chairman Burrows believes that every single member of the House is an elected representative of the people and that their voice deserves to be heard. And so that is, I think, in stark contrast to David Cook's record, a very moderate record at best. I don't know anyone in Austin that would, consider him a conservative.
You're fearing a top-down system under David Cook, where Dustin Burrows, in your opinion, would leave it up open to the floor.
Chairman Burrows wants to empower the members of the House. David Cook's candidacy is all about handing over control to influences outside of the Texas House. And let's give a few examples because, I think Capitol insiders have whiplash watching David Cook reinvent himself as some type of conservative champion. This is a guy that, raised taxes as Mayor of Mansfield. This is a guy that banned fracking and tried to harm the oil and gas industry as Mayor of Mansfield, that hired taxpayer-funded lobbyists to fight against the tax caps that Chairman Burrows passed in the 2019 session. This is a guy that, when we had the biggest vote for school choice of the regular session, voted present not voting. He didn't vote for it. He didn't vote against it. David Cook white-lighted it because he, didn't want to take a stance on that issue.
This is normally an internal House issue.
Yes.
It is becoming a very public campaign, a pressure campaign. The local parties, including the chairman of the Republican Party, are weighing in. People are running text ads. People are running digital ads. They're polling, including your district. What are your thoughts about that?
Look, I think that we do need transparency. People need to know what's going on in the Texas House, no matter what the decision is that we make. But I think that the reason people are seeing this for the first time ever is because there is a rule that this is actually not a campaign. This is akin to setting the rules for the House and administrative tasks for the Texas House. And there are actually rules against campaigning publicly, using dark money for that purpose. Before last session, the Attorney General said that he would not defend the Texas Ethics Commission if they were sued. Representative Brian Slayton, who was then a rep at the time, a disgraced former rep that was expelled from the House last session, he sued, and the Texas Ethics Commission wasn't defended. And so now dark money from these fringe groups can be used to try to convince people that their guy, who they know they can control, is somehow the conservative option, despite the fact that before he sought this power, never had a conservative voting record.
And for political watchers like us, they're somewhat hinting that they're going to run against people who vote for Dustin Burrows in the next primary.
Absolutely.
Thoughts on that? I mean, that's a very overt pressure campaign.
That's part of the deal that you sign up for. You get a job for 2 years, and it's a free world, and people can run against you if they choose. I can tell you that we're ready for that battle, that Chairman Burrows is already developing a political machine that he is going to use to fight back against the smear campaign and the lies that we are seeing. Dustin Burrows has been a champion for the conservative cause. He is a man that endorsed Trump in 2016, in 2020, in 2024, was out there publicly when not many else were. I can't find any evidence on social media that David Cook even knows who Donald Trump is.
And this all comes to a head, Gromer, on January 14th, the first day of the legislative
Big
session.
day. That's right. Still ahead.